Hi guys. So we're looking at the reason for absence column and we're trying to determine how do we analyze this column and figure out what is the correlation with absenteeism within a company. So the first thing we're going to look at is what are the unique values within a reason for absence. So we're going to perform a sort. So np.sort. So we've sorted the unique values and we're going through this, and it looks like we have one missing value, but we're not exactly sure and we don't want to count them manually. So what we're going to do is we're going to determine what are the number of values. So we use the len function and we have 28 values. Now that's weird because, well, actually it's not weird because we have 0 through 28, so that's 29 values. It appears that value 20 is missing, so that makes sense. Okay, so that kind of confirms our suspicions. So to use the 28 values in a regression, we will create dummy variables. And dummy variables will represent either ones or zeros. Either a characteristic is present or a characteristic is not present. That's why we use the dummy variables. So to do that, we're going to create a variable called reason columns. And this is a pandas application, and get dummies. Okay, now we're going to display reason columns to make sure that it's correct. And we have our dummy variables from 0 through 28. And we have 700 rows. 700 rows by 28 columns. Excellent. Now, we want to create a check because the idea is there should be every row, as we're going down the row, every row should have one and only one value that is marked true. And there might be some rows that have 2 or that have 0, and we need to confirm that that's not the case. We need to confirm that everything is correct and every row only has one value. So what we're going to do is we're going to sum the checks. So we'll say reason columns reason column check equals reason column sum, and the axis we're looking, the axis that we're summing is axis 1. Okay, now we're going to display the reason column again. Reason columns, and we have our check column. Okay, now we need to make sure that all of the checks are in place. So we're going to perform a sum. So reason column, we're looking at the check column. to sum, and we're going to sum on axis 0, which is the column. Okay, let's run this. Oh, that should be a 0. There we go. We have 700. So we have 700 sums, and that is absolutely correct. Okay, now to determine if the rows have a sum different from 1, what we're going to do is determine the unique values. So think about this. What would the number of unique values be if we did not have 0s and 2s in our values? So we're going to type reason columns check, and we're looking at unique. So it's absolutely correct. So we have one value. Very good. Okay, now we're going to do a similar analysis with the age column. So what we'll do is we'll type age dummies. This is where we're going to place the dummy variables. And we want to use PD dot get dummies, and the column we're using is age. Okay, now we're going to look at age dummies to display it. Okay, absolutely correct. So the values that we have are 27 through 58. Those are the ages in our analysis. Okay, so we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did with the reasons column. So first we're going to create a check. So age dummies. So we've got our check column equals age dummies sum, and the axis is 1. So let's run this. Now we'll look at age dummies. Okay, we have our check column. Now let's make sure we have the correct number. So what we're going to do is we're going to do age dummies check sum, and we're going to sum on axis 0. So we have 700 values, which is correct. And now we're going to look at the unique values. So age dummies check, unique, and we have one value that's absolutely correct. Okay guys, this was an absolutely incredible one. It's really valuable, and thank you very much for listening. Thanks.